Day 24 of the 30-day challenge, where we are challenged to speak for 60 seconds at the very minimum, and at least one of these 30 days has to be 60 minutes. Today has been a very overwhelming day. Lots of physical and emotional demand. I am very tired. I received some feedback that I requested, and a lot of it was positive. All of it was positive, but some of it was very important that I listened to, even after having completed a huge amount of effort on a project I was asking feedback for. And that's always difficult. You finish a project, you put a lot of work into something, you ask for feedback, and you better be prepared to receive that feedback. But sometimes it requires a lot of additional effort when you get that feedback, especially when you agree with it. Why can't we just hold on to our ego and say, we don't agree with it? Well, because we want to grow. Yeah, when we want to grow, guess what? That means you got to accept some of the feedback and see if you really agree with it, and admit it if you agree with it, so that you can continue growing and improve your craft. So that's been one of the emotional difficulties for today. But I was sitting all day long, not all day long, but a lot of today, trying to get an application submitted that I thought would be a very simple, straightforward thing. And it's a copyright application for my first album. And so far it seemed pretty straightforward. I guess what was not straightforward was the amount of work I had to do to find all of the pieces to the 20 tracks on this album. Yeah, I said 20. Scattered stuff in many different digital devices and cloud storage and different external drives and papers, and I'm photocopying stuff that I wrote down on a book somewhere that I had to go find. The power of organization. I do possess that a lot more these days, but I didn't always. If you remember hearing me talk about some of my past, you will know that drugs were a big part of that. Not recreational, right? But the effects are still the same. Trying to maintain some level of clarity and organization while under the influence, not an easily achievable task, and I am often reminded of that fact when I go looking for my past creative writings, and I'm astounded by how stupid my filing abilities used to be. I'm so glad I've improved, but I'm so annoyed with my former self for hiding stuff in the trash. Why did I file things there? Anyways, so I'm sitting and submitting this application and looking for all these things that I need to submit with this application, and I'm getting tired and overwhelmed and feeling kind of isolated because all this work that we do behind our computer when we're trying to be an artist and support our families with that, it gets kind of ironically isolating. You're just sitting there all day getting things together when what you're trying to do is be on stage inspiring people and being around lots of people, but you're without any people most of the time. That gets old. But something really cool happened just a little bit ago. And I think I'll share that with you because a friend of mine, a guy I used to be in a band with, him and I every once in a while jam with our phones. We're very busy. We have very, very busy lives, but every once in a while we'll chime in with each other and just share a quick little riff that hit us. Him usually on his guitar, me usually with my vocals. And every once in a while, we riff back to each other. And we have this spontaneous jam with our mobiles. And there's this really cool app. Well, I don't know if cool. I'm not endorsing this. Apps all suck. I get tired of screen crack, and I've been on screen crack for a heck of a lot more than 3 hours today. I've broken my promise, but today's going to have to be an exception. But anyways, back to this app. Don't know if you can see that there. That's my other phone. I have two phones. Why? But there's my other phone, and there's the Marco Polo app. And if I open that up, I think I might just play And here's a really ironic thing. So I got this inspiration to go ahead and share this spontaneous jam combustion that Doug and I had. And then I thought, wait a second, aren't I copywriting 20 of my tracks? Didn't he just interrupt the process of me copywriting my music? So am I really going to upload his to YouTube now? What's wrong with me? So I called him. I said, hey, do you mind? This just inspired me. Do you mind if I just go ahead and upload our jam session? Because this was fun. And his response was, he's an open source. I'm an open source guitarist. That's what he said. Can't say that I agree with that for my own purposes, but I'm glad he said that because now I get to share it with you guys. So here's, back up here. I'm going to show you him and me playing together. Oh, power off. There you go.
So much to do, so much left to catch up to. So much to do, so much to catch up to. When I think I'm alone, you call me on the phone, but we don't talk no more. You just send me music on your phone. Mobile world, so disconnected, connected in a mobile world. But I feel your vibes the same, whether you're here or somewhere else. We send each other these vibes to make us feel more alive. Yeah. Play around. I just finally sat down and submitted my first application to copyright my first album, and it's gonna come true eventually. Kinda reminds me of the destination, just a little bit. Reminds me of the destination you never made.
Don't know where it's going.
Me neither. But it was fun. There we go.
All right. So that was Doug. And this is the guy that I've talked about before. He's so Vintage. That was the band that we were in. And we actually got to the third round in the first season of X Factor together. So this guy is a really cool dude. And him and I have come up with countless originals just off the cuff. For whatever reason, whenever we would sit down together, and I said this before in another video, but it's worth reiterating, he'll play some stuff on the guitar, and it'll talk to me, and I will just start singing, and my singing will talk to his guitar, and it'll start playing. It sounds so stupid, but it's true. That's how it works. There's not a lot of thought. There's thought afterwards, but it doesn't take a lot of thought. That's the cool thing. It just kind of happens, just like now. He interrupted my process of filing this application, and him and I just started singing to each other live. Well, kind of live. It's a buffer there, but back and forth via mobile. All right. Thanks for watching this one. Have a wonderful evening. There is no moral here, just some music. Good night.
Perhaps slower.
I'm ready to go, but I just changed my mind. Oh man, my mind's so slow. I'm ready to quit. I've got a terrible itch, but I scratched that before. Failure's a son of a